Welcome back to Project 82, the SCP Remote Access Database. Which case file do you require?
Item number SCP-377. Object Class Safe. SCP-377 is kept in the personnel break room, third cabinet to the left of the refrigerator. Any personnel desiring a cookie from SCP-377 may take one, and only one cookie, every 48 hours, to ensure that all personnel get a share. Personnel read their fortunes at their own risk. SCP-377 is a box of La Choy brand fortune cookies. The box was full when it was recovered from and has since restocked itself regularly every 12 hours. The cookies within the box are individually wrapped for freshness according to the box, and are, according to all tests, totally ordinary. Each cookie contains one 18mm by 58mm piece of paper in which a fortune is written in blue ink. All of these properties are consistent with a box of cookies from this brand. However, the fortunes contained within each cookie are not consistent with those provided by the standard product. Fortunes appear to be specific to the individual opening the cookie and have thus far shown to be 100% accurate, ranging from vague indications of coming success to specific predictions regarding the personnel's personal lives. The fortunes are not, however, always positive. It is unknown whether the fortune cookies actively predict future events or in fact cause future events to occur. Document 377-01. The following is a partial log of some of the more notable fortunes given out by SCP-377. Fortune text: "It's a boy!" Corresponding result: subject's wife's water broke less than an hour later. The child was male. Fortune text: "The weather is really just not your friend today." Corresponding result: subject was struck by lightning later on the same day. Subject made a full recovery. Fortune text: "Keep playing, you're gonna win soon." Corresponding result: subject was a regular player in the state lottery, buying 2 lottery tickets a week. 4 weeks after receiving this fortune, subject won over $100 million. Fortune text: "Life is laughter, enjoy it while you can." Corresponding result: subject suffered an aneurysm leading to massive hemorrhaging and sudden death. This occurred while subject was laughing. Fortune text: "Duck." Corresponding result: Addendum. Following SCP-377's prediction of the deaths of several personnel, a request was submitted to upgrade SCP-377's class to Keter. These were denied, citing a lack of evidence that SCP-377 had any actual connection to the causes of deaths. Addendum. Dr. received a fortune reading, "You don't have long to live." Dr. was then startled by a guard who entered the break room and began to choke on the cookie. The guard did not know the Heimlich maneuver, and Dr. tragically suffocated and died. This has been regarded as an accident and a coincidence. Note from Agent: I strongly discourage the recreational use of SCP-377. Knowing the future sucks all the fun out of life. Believe me, I know.
Case file ends. Which case file do you require?
Item number SCP-387. Object Class Safe. Due to the nature of this object and the almost non-existent harm it poses, it is stationed in a storage container in Site-19 with a standard lock. The red tub in which SCP-387 is contained does not possess any unusual properties itself, as has been determined through testing, but SCP-387 will not duplicate itself unless at least a layer of it covers the bottom of the aforementioned container. A sheet is available for those wishing to utilize SCP-387, and access will be revoked if it is not properly restored. SCP-387 is a tub of commercially available Lego, normal in design. Irregular shapes not featured in normal sets, such as circular wheels and prisms, are also available. It has no brand name, and every company interviewed by undercover agents thus far has denied ever making irregular Lego. When the tub is not full, i.e. when it is partially or almost fully emptied, the LEGO will slowly duplicate themselves, stopping when the container is full. The interesting property of SCP-387 is that, when constructed by a human hand, see Addendum 387-D, the constructions will animate themselves, performing activities based on their surroundings. For example, if a LEGO man, which is a man constructed using the provided humanoid parts, is placed within a car, it will begin to drive it. Further experimentation has revealed that the car, and indeed any complex machine, needs no internal engine or power source. The LEGO people have some form of sentience as they interact with each other quite readily. If left over time, the constructed people and buildings will evolve. They will take on occupations based on the buildings around them. E.g., some people will become firemen and use fire trucks if the corresponding objects are there. They will also use SCP-387 to construct more things to expand their society. Humans can interact with them quite peacefully, but if a human becomes hostile to them, they will immediately cease all activity and become inanimate. SCP-387 was found in February of 2000 by Agent. During a long train ride back to the city he lived in, Agent idly constructed a man from SCP-387, which was in the seat beside him at the time. Several seconds later, it became animated. Agent quickly disassembled the man and delivered the item to Site-19 for analysis, where it now remains. The security tapes from the train were confiscated and destroyed before they could be reviewed. Optional information. SCP-387 should not be given to children under the age of 10, especially if the aforementioned children are influenced by cartoons and television shows. See Experiment 387-B. Experiment 387-A. A small community of SCP-387 is formed in a testing chamber. A plane constructed from normal LEGO was placed to the side of the community. Over the next 3 hours, the following changes were observed. Several LEGO men procured some equipment from SCP-387, heading over towards the plane. With incredible efficiency, the LEGO men constructed what was, for all intents and purposes, a working airport, the specific pieces having been supplied by SCP-387 without visible signal. A petrol tank zoomed over the said plane, apparently filled it with fuel, despite earlier observations that vehicles constructed from SCP-387 do not require fuel, and the plane proceeded to literally take off, flying around the room at low speeds and altitude, seemingly to avoid crashing. More planes of different make and design were formed soon after. Addendum 387-1. Judge and Vitus, I'd say the constructions of SCP-387 have some form of understanding of the surrounding environment, and they are able to convert existing LEGO to 387. Dr. Arch. Experiment 387-B. Several young children were given SCP-387 and were given instructions to use their imagination. The children, who had their memories of this experiment removed, began constructing various objects. After having noticed that they were animate, they excitedly conferred and began building several objects they had intended to use in battling each other. These included a transformer, an M1 Abrams tank, and several. The children were instantly removed, at which point the creations began to fire and eventually destroyed each other, though not after considerable effort. Addendum 387-2. How the fuck did these children gain knowledge of the workings of an M1 Abrams tank, no less? I'm not responsible for cleaning out the mess those things make if anyone is stupid enough to let children go at SCP-387. I am not recommending an upgrade to Euclid, as the constructions do not fire whilst in the presence of humans. This has been tested with adults and proved just as correct. Dr. Arch. Experiment 387-C. The red tub that contains SCP-387 is emptied of LEGO. Commercially available LEGO is then placed in the tub for a minute. Constructed objects are inanimate and remain so. SCP-387 is replaced. It is noted that the LEGO placed within the tub also did not duplicate itself. Experiment 387-C-2. A single block of SCP-837 is placed within the red tub. It does not replicate. More of SCP-387 is added until the bottom layer is covered, at which point it began to replicate itself quite rapidly until it had been filled. The amount of SCP-387 removed from the tub continued to work. Similarly, when an amount of SCP-387 higher than the tub's capacity was placed upon the tub, It shrank until the red tub was fully filled. Addendum 387-3. It appears that the red tub itself has no abilities by itself, but SCP-387 will not duplicate itself unless in that particular tub. Perhaps this is a copyright mechanism that stops copies of 387 being made? Further experimentation needed. Dr. Arch. Experiment 387-D. A robotic arm was used to construct a car out of 387. It did not animate. This test was repeated with a human hand, at which point the car animated as usual. A dead hand from a recently dismembered agent was used, to no response. The hand was then heated, which still provoked no response. Addendum 387-4. It appears that 387 responds to a pulse or some other detection of human life. Dr. Arch. Addendum 387-5. This SCP has been in high demand for extended use, as further testing has revealed no more anomalies or features. In the personnel tested, SCP-387 has improved morale and attitude by 87%. People are really kids at heart here. As such, I am recommending that all personnel be given free access for recreational use. Dr. Arch. Request approved. Experiment 387-E. Once a normal community of 387 was constructed, a small mound of megablocks, a common copy of Lego, was placed near the community. When this happened, everything constructed of 387 stopped moving, turned slowly toward the megablocks and... Addendum 387-6. Jesus fucking Christ! Dr. Arch.
Case file ends. Which case file do you require?
Item number SCP-406. Object Class Euclid. Task Force Tau-6 are assigned to monitor SCP-406 and process SCP-406-1 instances. They are to be based on a converted small industrial unit at a nearby industrial park behind the Foundation front company, Simon's Carpet Paradise. The emergence point and western entrance of SCP-406 are to be monitored via closed-circuit television cameras. Concealed lighting and infrared sensors are to be fitted to detect and illuminate emerging SCP-406-1 instances, and emergency clothing, non-perishable food, and basic first aid supplies are to be concealed behind false brickwork on the opposite wall. Two-way audio communication is to be enabled via concealed microphones and speakers between Tau-6 and the emergence point to guide and instruct SCP-406-1 instances and to wake them if necessary. The gate at the open western entrance is to be kept locked. Trespassers are to be monitored and are to be detained and administered amnestics if they witness an SCP-406-1 instance. SCP-406-1 instances are to be retrieved by members of Tau-6 and taken to Sector 25, debriefed, administered amnestics, then escorted to their point of origin. Fabricated cover stories and/or amnestics are to be used to explain the absence of SCP-406-1 instances. All SCP-406-1 instances are to be logged and remotely monitored for a period of 5 years, previously 20, and detained if any anomalous properties become apparent. A proposal for covert monitoring of residents of the origin area to prevent or reduce disappearance event frequency is currently under review. SCP-406 is a 228-meter-long disused railway tunnel in Crigglestone, England. The eastern entrance has been infilled and is inaccessible. The western entrance is blocked by a metal fence with a locked gate. SCP-406-1 are persons who emerge via unknown means through the inner northern wall of SCP-406 at a point 15.3 meters from the closed end of the tunnel. SCP-406-1 instances are invariably initially asleep and walking upright, but most instances wake up naturally shortly after their appearance, usually due to the sudden shock of the cold air within the tunnel. Initial inspection and testing of the emergence point was unable to identify any anomalous effects. Further testing of the emergence point is prohibited until further notice, See document SCP-406-A. SCP-406's first known anomalous event on record was in December 1981 when the naked body of Mr. 24 was found within the tunnel, having died of head injuries and exposure after apparently tripping and falling within the tunnel. A tattoo was identified and later matched against a missing persons report in Illinois, USA. A subsequent instance of SCP-406-1 was recovered alive in February 1982, Ms. 8, and the anomalous nature of the tunnel became apparent. The Foundation became aware of SCP-406 at this point and established initial containment procedures. All instances of SCP-406-1 to date have originated in the rough geographical area of Douglas County, Illinois, and a small portion of the southern end of Champaign County, Illinois, and appeared within SCP-406 shortly after falling asleep. Instances of SCP-406-1 do not report abnormal histories of sleepwalking. To date, no attempt to witness or record the disappearance of an SCP-406-1 instance from their origin point has been successful. Current conjecture suggests that a disappearance will not occur unless unobserved. No SCP-406-1 has yet to report any memories of their time between falling asleep and waking within SCP-406, and no attempt to recover memories has yet been successful. To date, instances of SCP-406-1 have been recovered. SCP-406-1 instances are not known to be anomalous. No individual SCP-406-1 instance has appeared more than once. Document SCP-406-A. On August 14, 1989, at 1732 GMT, an emergence event occurred during exploratory drilling of the materials of the wall at the emergence point. Despite immediate medical intervention, Mrs. 76 died at the scene. Mrs. was not known to have had any living relatives, and staff at the nursing home where she resided were administered amnestics and a cover story, heart failure. Technician manning the drill at the time also requested amnestics. This was denied. A leave of absence was granted.
Thank you for your participation in Project 82, transmitting psioanalytic data to Dr.